everyone, welcome back. Fubar here, and today we got a special guest, 44 Mag.
Hey Jonathan, what's happening?
We got a very exciting topic today, buddy. We are going to be talking about what we think is the end game in Warpath.
I like that. I'm used to hear a lot of technical content from you, but this is quite different, so I'm excited to know your theory on that. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and explain me what is your end game.
To me, and this is my opinion solely, what I consider end game for everyone, of course you can max out all the tech, or you can max out every single building, you can get every fortified wall to level 300, but then all you got to look forward to is the level 4 cities and the in-game events and trying to get unit skins and base skins. But if we look right here, there's actually something better we can actually work towards, which I feel is the end game. If we look at camps and we go over to our camp buff, you can see right here that if you run a 6 units of one camp, then you actually can deploy an 18% buff for your base and 18% buff for all troops deployed, and this actually stacks with the other 2 units if you decide to use them of the same camp. Now, when we can run a 6-2 buff between any of these camps at any given time, that to me is end game. And also, another thing that you might want to consider for endgame would be actually the manuals. Maxing out your manuals to 100%, meaning 200 out of 200 in classic unit manuals, and also 162 out of 162 for the modern unit manuals. That to me is the ultimate endgame, because collecting units and building these units is the hardest thing to do in this game. It takes so long to build a 7.2 unit and to get that unit to 9.2, but it's not impossible. And with the reverse engineering, it's easier for people to get to an optimized setup that they want, fix the mistakes they have made, and keep going forward. And that's my opinion. What is yours, Mag?
So that would mean, before answering your question, that would mean what's gonna happen when you reach your end game? Are you actually gonna stop playing the game, or you will keep playing the game?
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna keep playing the game because I love the game. I am very passionate about the game. I made some friendships in this game that I could have never imagined. For example, I got you, Mag, as a friend who is all the way up in Canada in a totally different country, and I cherish that relationship. I got my buddy Spicy Tuna, who's all the way out in California. I got my buddy Captain Wildbully, who's all the way out in Australia. We are friends with General Ghost, who lives all the way out in Cambodia. And the list goes on. There's also our Discord moderators, St. Arikon. He lives in the UK. We have made so many friendships and connections around the world that it's too hard to put the game down and just uninstall. But what I would do is gradually continue to spend less.
Those elements make you or motivate you to keep playing Warpath.
Yes, it's the bonds between our viewers and our in-game relationships.
All right. So my in-game is, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper in the hole. Yours is really technical. I respect that because everybody got their own opinion about the end game. What I found it interesting is my point of view is very different. For me, the end game is, well, before going to the end game, let me say that your end game is Lilith or any game publisher's worst night, right? They will do as much as they can to prevent you from reaching that. Once you do, then it means you may not play anymore unless you really care or really passionate about Warpath like you are, right? It's like when you buy a video game back in the days, you would finish the game and then, okay, let's play another game. Unless that game is a classic, it's a true masterpiece, then you want to play it again, maybe at a different level, different difficulty level. But most of the time when you finish the game, you don't want, you're done, you want to do something. So they work really hard to keep this game updated, to bring new challenges, to bring new stuff. So once you think you reach the maximum, there's like you reached a false peak, then there's another peak behind. Just when you reach 9.2 units, right? You think that you obtain, you you reach the peak until they announce the 10 stars level, and then you have to do it all over again. So there you go.
Yes.
And so my end game theory is, simply put, when just unplug, when you uninstall the game, quit playing the game. That is, for me, the ultimate. There could be a lot of reasons why you quit the game. Maybe your alliance disbanded after a defeat and all your friends stop playing, and then you don't want to play anymore because those friends, you create a bond with them. Or either you realize that you were spending too much time playing the game, not enough time for your personal or business time. Or maybe you realize that you spent too much money, or you're just straight up quitting the game as you cannot control it. You cannot reduce your pace, or you cannot pace yourself, and you just decide to quit, or for whatever reason. Okay, it could be many reasons. I've seen a lot of players quitting. Of course, there's plenty of players downloading the game, but ultimately it's when you decide that you had enough for whatever reason. It's the ultimate end game. So there you go. It's different than yours, but still it's also as valid as your.
Yes. There is one thing I want to express to you, though. Do you remember when you got your very first 9.2 unit and your very first 7.2 unit? That rush of excitement, that feeling of accomplishment, man, can you imagine that feeling when you have every single classic unit unlocked in that journal and every single modern unit? Can you imagine that rush you'll get?
It's very satisfying. You're so proud of yourself because you worked so hard for this to obtain that goal. Or it could be when you level an officer. That's always an exciting moment, when the excitement reaches apogee, summit, or any kind of long-term objective. Because the more you play the game, it seems like every new level you reach is getting more and more difficult, and the game is very well made, so that makes you it's hard to describe this in English, but basically they makes it very
addicting.
Yes, addictive. I mean, the visual effect, the satisfaction of obtaining something, whether it's a gold plus part or a new officer you unlock, whatever the case may be. It makes you feel so proud. So maybe at one time you feel desperate, or you feel devastated about something, and then a positive aspect come that cheers you up and get you hooked on this game again. So kudos to Warpath, as it's very well made of that matter, because of course Warpath or any game publisher, they're looking for two things. The first one is to get you addicted to the game. So they want you to keep playing the game, so you spend more money in the game. And that's business-wise, that makes sense, right? So it does. Yeah, so they use every tactic possible to keep you hooked on this game. That's why I'm probably still playing the game. I do love the game, don't get me wrong, I love the game, but yeah, it makes it very satisfying to reach certain key moments that fuel your passion for playing War.
Yes. I mean, another thing that keeps you going in this game too, especially as a content creator, I'm going to speak like this. It's when you get all those positive reviews and like people saying, hey, thank you so much for the help, and when you are friendly to them and you're humble, and you go into an L4 and you say, hi, what's up? And everyone's like, whoa, you're actually in this L4 with me? Holy shit. And but the end game of Warpath, I feel, will be when you have maxed everything out and you have all those units done. It's not to pay to win content. I'm talking about strictly free to play content. And that's why I feel Warpath brought in Air Force units. And that's why I feel they were also bringing in the modern units. And now why they're thinking about eventually going to bring in these 10.0 units is because people are starting to reach this end game. Now, my only variation to the end game, because yes, you can max out all these manuals, it's the 6-2 unit combo. And also having to get the gold plus parts for it, the right officer pairings. And for some people, even I believe the end game would be having every single officer in the game completely awakened. For example, you have a ton of officers awakened on your account. Me, not so much, because I'm completely free to play. So and the officer aspect, so I don't spin the lucky wheel, and it takes me much longer than the average person, but I focus on priority officers. Doesn't mean I don't like the old or the other officers, because there's no such thing as bad officer, just bad situation. But that is what I think it is.
It's a valid point. I mean, like I said, it's a personal opinion, and you need to realize one thing, that as if you're a moderate spender or even a free-to-play spender, and you look at those whales account, that only a handful of them have you will never reach that point. It's impossible. So you kind of have to lower your expectations. So maybe in your case, you say, well, when I reach X amount of 9th unit or X amount of officer, for me, I will reach the end. So it's very personal, depends. It's case per case, as not everybody have the same budget. And for most of us, it's only a game, right? And if you reach it, that's amazing. Like I say, the next morning, you still have to go to work. You still have to pay your bills. You still have to change the diapers. I mean, life goes on. And in the end, okay, I didn't reach my goal, but you know what? It's only a game. And if I didn't reach it, probably a lot of other players didn't. So it's always good to have a goal. Doesn't matter if it's in real life or in the game. That's what drives that goal, that motivation. So everybody have this, and everybody's opinion is. So I'm glad that you bring this topic, as it kind of, you're a very technical guy who makes who publish a lot of content about the technical stuff. But that, when you told me about this topic, you caught me by surprise, as it's kind of more of my topic that I like to talk. I'm glad that you bring up this topic, talk about this, and hopefully you guys can share in the comments, what is your end game in your opinion, and are you close to reach your end game? Or do you believe you may never reach the end game? And do you care about the end? That's what we want.
As a little blooper for our audience, how we came to this topic and how this idea came to mind is I take edible gummies for my medications for a night to help me sleep. And while that kicked in one night, the thought just hit me, and I instantly messaged Mag and I said, what do you consider as endgame in Warpath? And I also asked my friends in game, and they had it threw them for a loop. So that's how this topic came to be today. And if you guys have enjoyed this channel and this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Okay. Also, we have 2 Discords up and running. We have Fubar's Lounge, where Mag is in there as well. So as we shared this lounge together, and we also have the Warpath Lounge, where we share it with a ton of other content creators. Keep in mind, Warpath Lounge, it's no holds barred content in there for you guys to talk and do whatever you want. But in the Fubar Lounge, it is all about the business. If you need help in game, that's where you want to go. I'm always there. Mag's always there, and a ton of other people who are very educated on this game. So I hope to see you there. What do you got to say, Mag?
Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. Be ready for more exciting content as the streaming period is done with the Paramount Cup. So the regular content will kick in. So once again, stay tuned for more exciting content.
So this is Fubar and 44 Mag. We got your 6. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.